For a hot start, these offenses hitting a rough stretch here as we reach the 10-minute mark in this first half. Anderson over to Kirkwood now. Jago back to Anderson. Jago will pull up. He's well short on that. Kirkwood gathered the rebound and draws a whistle.
I believe this is going to be on Angelo Johnson again. If so, that is his second.
Several Patriots already with 2 fouls, and this will be the 7th and 8th free throws that the Seahawks have hit. So after getting the first 3 foul shots for the Patriots, it has been the Seahawks that have gotten to the line over and over here in this first half.
And this is Kirkland again. He made his first 3 free throws, but he's missed his last 2. Looks like he will be playing at the next level. Kirkland has already received offers from Lamar University, Chicago State, and North Texas.
A couple of Chicago State offers for the Seahawks squad. Kirkwood there, good on the second, brings this one back even. Ortiz, Dieng now. Napper resetting things in the circle. 15 on the shot clock, nearing the midway point in this first half. Napper off the Dieng screen. He'll take all the way. A nice 2-point layup there. Wayne Napper.
First points of the game for Napper.
Inside there and gets it to roll in, does number 10, Trandon Smith. Napper gonna take all the way from the half-court line, then kick at the last minute. No good though is Latrell Jones. Jago gathered the rebound. Now Lewis sprinting up the court with it. He'll pull up from the right wing. He is good for 3, putting the Seahawks back in the lead in this one.
That's his second 3. I mentioned he had 39 coming in. He's already made both 3s for the Seahawks.
Napper tied up there.
Yeah, it might be a reach-in foul.
Amir Burkott was the other party involved with that.
I think he caught him with a little bit of the body. Caught him on the arm. Amir Burkott will pick up the personal. That's his first.
Napper looking, finds Jones over at the right wing. The Dieng screen, Jones drives, kicks, Ortiz in the corner. Ortiz long. A couple of those drive and kick opportunities here in the last few possessions for the Patriots. Aaron Jenkins, he's good from deep.
Yeah, Jenkins says, I want to get in on the act too. He's a Division II transfer from Long Island University. He was the team's leading scorer in conference play, including 9 20-point games and 2 30-point games.
Latrell Jones gonna take all the way. No good though, strong on that layup against the backboard. And Jenkins inside to Jago. He's no good though. Gets his own rebound and puts it back for 2. Now an 8-point lead for the Seahawks.
He's the high point man for the Seahawks, 7 points for the sophomore.
Napper kicks again. This time it's Beamer, top of the key. Beamer rolls out. Gathered by Lewis. He'll take it all the way. He puts up a tough layup, can't get it to go. Rebound gathered, there it is. Number 1, Darian Jenkins with the putback and stretching that margin to double digits now.
All Southern Conference first team selection. So Broward College, a double-digit lead with under 8 minutes to play, Jake.
Stoppage there for the Patriots, and yeah, it feels like the last stoppage we had, last chance we had to exhale. This was a tight ball game. This was a game in which Central Florida was getting to the foul line more, and now after, this last few minutes and these last few sequences of play, it's a double-digit margin, and that pressure that Broward is applying and forcing the Patriots to just every possession work, even for the most elementary of crossing the half court, things like getting to the timeline. It's just right now the pressure is paying off for Broward, and they've got a little shorter roster, a little shorter bench. But at the end of the day, I think that's going to be the key in this one is, can they keep up that pressure for 40 minutes on the Patriots?
Well, as I mentioned, they average almost 92 a game, and they're able to do that because they have 5 guys that average in double figures for them. Led by Pinckney at 16.8 a game. Jenkins next at 16.2. Central Florida was hitting the shot behind the arc in the early going, but Seahawks have hit 3 of their own.
Johnson back in this one. I'll take the Beamer screen. Now Beamer will pull up from the top of the key. Bryce Beamer.
He's already over his average of 8 a game. He's got, or 7 a game. He's got 8 points here in the first half.
Oh, a block from Dieng there, two-handed. And they've got an advantage for a short period of time, but it's stolen away. So the Patriots not able to take advantage. Now Jenkins, he's long there. Dieng gathers the rebound. Not wasting their time are the Patriots in countering. They bring it right up the floor. Johnson looking, probing, gives it away. But he's fouled, appeared to be fouled, bumped on the pass. So the Patriots should retain the basketball here after just.
Foul going to go on Andre Anderson. That will be his first 6th team foul. Right now, Broward shooting 50%, including 42.9% from deep, compared to 36.8% for Central Florida. However, the Patriots are shooting 45.5% from behind the arc. Patriots, though, have already turned it over 8 times in the first half.
Johnson will inbound. He'll kick all the way outside to Jaron Williams off the Delcadio screen. Stolen away once again. Now the Patriots take it back. Angelo Johnson with the basketball. He'll hand to Napper, but Napper loses it. Ball will stay with Central Florida.
Yeah, let's see if it gets overruled here, though. They do.
It does.
Because Kirkwood was there, but he was saying he did not touch it. The ball slipped out of the hands, and you see Napper pleading his case. But it's going to be another turnover, the 10th of the first half for Central Florida.
So a stoppage here in a 7-point margin now with 6:47 remaining in this this first half. And boy, where do you find the chance to exhale in this one? The pace of these two teams, you mentioned that number.
Yeah.
Or the two numbers, just the sheer amount of points that these two teams put up. And it's because of the pace that they play at. This one is I mean, we saw Broward stretch it out to a double-digit margin there in the middle of the half. If there's anything to learn from the beginning of this game, it's that things can change immediately, and that is kind of the case here, where it's been. We always say basketball game of runs, but this one is a game of fast runs.
Well, and I think for Central Florida, they got to limit the turnovers. Obviously, this is a very efficient offense for Broward College. I do want to correct myself. I mentioned DeAndre Pinckney among those leading scorers at 16 points a game, but he actually got hurt in their first conference game of the season. Just 5 minutes in, suffered a season-ending foot injury. He averaged 16.8 points and 8 rebounds a game. He still leads the FCSAA in field goal percentage at 68.4%, and he also currently holds over 30 Division I offers, including Florida Atlantic, Florida Gulf Coast, St. John's, Virginia Tech, and East Carolina. So you could imagine just how good this team might be if Pinckney was still on the floor for the Seahawks. This is a team Broward College that is number 2 in the country in field goal percentage. Right now they're shooting 50% from the floor, 42.9% from behind the arc.
10-point advantage when it comes to the points in the paint for Broward, which highlights the different ways that these two teams do things. You see the Patriots, the drive and kick has kind of become a big part of their game here early on in this one, as we just over the 7-minute mark in this first half. Beamer, Napper, Johnson, Jaron Williams, and Eduardo Del Cadio, the lineup for the Patriots. Seahawks inbounding is Kirkwood. Kirkwood bumped by Napper there.
And they did call a foul.
With Broward now in the bonus, it'll be a 1-and-1 on the foul, so Lewis will go to the line.
First foul on Waylon Napper. Rodney Lewis Jr., a 77.8% free throw shooter. As a team, they shoot 72.7.
Lewis good on the first, so he'll get an opportunity to shoot 2.
He has scored 7 off the bench.
Adds another one right there. Back to a 9-point margin. Beamer will inbound, he gives to Napper. A lot of pressure from the Seahawks here. Every possession down, but Napper gonna take it all the way almost to the basket himself, then the kick. Now Beamer ends up with it. Johnson in the corner, Napper in the corner, no good. Almost gathered by Del Cadio. Instead, Kirkwood is able to keep it alive. Now Lewis not wasting his time. Jenkins in the corner, Jenkins pumps. Back to Lewis now. Lewis, a tricky dribble move, but he loses the basketball to Angelo Johnson, who's gonna play the numbers. Dish to Napper, no good though. Del Cadio gathers. Del Cadio, no good on his own rebound. His third attempt, no good. Seahawks with a 3-on-3 matchup, and they lose the basketball on their way down. So once again, a sequence of 4 or 5 possessions in a row where you struggle to find the place to catch your breath.
Yeah, they missed a lot of easy bunnies early in the game too. I know when we were having technical difficulties coming on the air, but they hit so many shots behind the arc, and that's what had put them in the lead early in the game. You got to finish there at the rim.
And if you're Del Cadio right now, you're thinking of those 3 point-blank misses and just dreading the fact that you just overthought them. And Django gathers the rebound.
Use that 6'9" frame to clean the glass.
That was a lack of a call that Tim Ryan did not like at all over there. Lewis kind of lost the ball for a second. Johnson now, though, no points on that possession. Del Cadio from deep, and he makes up for those point-blank misses with a deep three-pointer right there.
Boy, that's huge. That's his second 3 of the game. They needed that. They're struggling at 33% shooting from the floor. He is from Italy. He's averaging a double-double. He scored 29 points in a game against Eastern Florida State College earlier this year. First team All-Mid-Florida Conference selection.
Caught. Now he hands to Aaron Jenkins. Jenkins gonna pull up from the elbow. He's good to beat the buzzer.
Boy, he did just beat it. And that was 1 second on the shot clock when he took that shot. That's his 7th point of the first half.
Angelo Johnson working on Rodney Lewis. Thought about handing to Beamer. Instead, he and Del Cadio exchange it. Johnson picks it up, and an offensive foul there on Angelo Johnson. Official signaling that maybe a little bit of an elbow.
Yeah, and that is going to be very costly because the sophomore just picked up his 3rd foul. He's going to have to head to the bench here with still 4:39 to play in the first half. He said he elbowed him in the face. The official did. So 3 fouls on Johnson, and he will check out. Philip Ortiz will check in. And that's big because, again, Johnson is their captain. He has started every game this year. He's averaging 11 points, 6 assists.
Lewis loses it as he tries to drive in on Jongo. No good, though. Gathered by Ortiz. Ortiz hands over to Napper. Stolen away by Kirkwood. Landon Kirkwood putting his stamp on this one in the first half.
Wow, going to call a blocking foul. Apparently he wasn't set. I thought it would be an offensive foul on Kirkwood, but instead it will be the first foul on Bryce Beamer. He must have been moving his feet slightly there, Jake. It looked like he was set. This will be the 7th and 8th free throws coming up for Kirkwood.
And the Patriots here racking up the fouls early. The foul trouble therein is going to be a huge storyline, I believe, in our second half. But Landon Kirkwood responsible for drawing a lot of those fouls in this first half. He had a 4 or 5 minute stretch early on where he just kind of took this one over. And there another costly whistle that is going to hurt the Patriots.
Kirkwood was the FCSAA Player of the Week from January 30th through February the 4th.
Kirkwood good on that one, makes it a double-digit margin once again. Beamer now, the token pressure from the Seahawks. Ortiz with a handoff, he's gonna take and kick. Delcadio from the right corner, rims out though. Jenkins kicks up to Lewis. Lewis gonna pull up for his own three. He's no good on that one, so trading misses. Now, Napper kicks all the way down inside, and that is Jaron Williams. Gets the basket and a chance for a three-point play.
He goes by Rondo. He's out of Rock Hill, South Carolina, one of the leaders on the team, starter for every conference game. He averaged 11 points, second team Mid-Florida Conference selection, and he is committed to play at UT Martin in the OVC Conference.
And Rondo nails the first.
Well, they get it back to single digits. That's certainly a number they want to have it at the end of the first half. Patriots hoping to make a run and close the gap after being down double digits. By the way, the foul was on Darian Jenkins of the Seahawks. That's his second. So Kirkwood and Jenkins with 2 fouls apiece.
Kirkwood gets around Beamer. Gives to Anderson, resetting things at the top of the key, guarded by his opposite, number 3. Gives over to Kirkwood. Back to Lewis. Lewis tipped away there by Latrell Jones. Seahawks will retain possession of the basketball, though. .332 remaining in this one. Both teams in the bonus. In the first half of this one, excuse me. 7-point lead for the Seahawks. Kirkwood, left wing. And just let the shot clock run out there, so trying to do too much offensively. And an empty possession for Broward.
That will be their 10th turnover of the first half.
That has kind of been their undoing, has been the turnovers. They've got a 8-point free throw advantage, and they're getting in the paint consistently, but they've just turned the ball over too much in this first half, and got to imagine they'd had to have an even bigger lead if they were safer with the basketball right now.
Well, Broward making the most of their first state tournament appearance in 10 years. And again, making the state tournament despite losing their leading scorer and team captain, and DeAndre Pinckney.
Second or third time now in this one where we've had kind of an unnecessarily long stoppage to wipe up the floor. I'm not sure what the issue seems to be with the standard in-game mop that's usually used, but
And they got the theme from Jeopardy playing now.
And now after that stoppage and inbound and resuming play with Andre Anderson crossing half court, gives over to Anjango. Darian Jenkins, spin, gets the two.
Well,
Quick response though from the Patriots. Latrell Jones, the quarterback pass, nearly three-quarter court from Delcadio. Gave the Patriots a quick response there. 7-point ball game, 2:30 in the first half. Miss, regathered, gathered by Delcadio after the battle for it. Another deep pass, Napper. So Delcadio 2 assists back-to-back, where he just looks down court and does his best Tom Brady impression.
Well, and now we're seeing points in transition. They've been able to work it back to a 5-point game.
Jenkins, top of the key. 2 minutes remaining in this first half. He'll pull up from the elbow. He is good.
About 11 first half points for the sophomore.
And it seems like most of them has been through the jump shot.
He's had 9 20-point games this year, 2 30-point games, so he could put points in the bucket in a hurry.
A little jostling there between Delcadio and Anjango.
First foul on Anjango. Eduardo, an 83.2% free throw shooter on Jinkston.
Short on that one, so the Seahawks will look to respond. 135. Kirkwood, he'll pull up from the short corner. He's long on that one, gathered by Delcadio. So a nice few possessions for Delcadio. Inside there, good. Jaron Williams.
So, yeah, nice little ball fake, get the defender in the air, and then take the easier two. He's got 8 first half points.
Loses the ball. Does Lewis whistle on Napper. So another costly foul there for the Patriots.
That'll be his second foul, and he's getting an explanation from the official why he was whistled for that personal.
Seems like most of this roster's on 2 fouls at this point.
Right, yeah. A lot of fouls on both sides, mainly for Central Florida. They've got, again, Johnson on the bench with 3 fouls. They've got 2 other players with 2 fouls apiece.
If you're Broward, the game plan has to be keep going inside, keep trying to get those whistles. They've had success in the paint here in this first half, and be wise to continue doing that here in the second half. Another short stoppage for wiping up something off the floor.
Darian Jenkins at the line, an 82.8% free throw shooter. He's averaging 16.2 a game. That was his first free throw attempt of the half, but he's in double figures with 12. All Southern Conference first team selection from Deer Park, New York.
it in, gets the Seahawks to 40 first half points in this one. Delcadio going to take it up himself. Top of the key working on Smith. Delcadio kicks inside. Beamer is good. 3 assists back to back to back for Eduardo Delcadio. Looking inside, but it's stolen away by Napper. Napper racing up the floor. He'll throw it up. Where Jones lost though. Kirkwood. He'll take it all the way himself, and he's no good. It's rebounded by Napper. 30 seconds remaining in this one. 5-point lead for the Seahawks. They're in the navy blue. Patriots.
Yeah, they're going to play for the
red, white, and blue.
Yeah, excuse me, Jake. They're going to play for the final shot here. There's only about a half-second differential between the shot clock and the game clock.
So the man they call Rondo working with the basketball here. Near center court, screen from Delcadio. Loses it. Beamer now, he's going to pull up with 2 on the shot clock. He nails it. And couldn't ask for a better way to end the half, but a deep Beamer 3. So bringing that margin to 2. And after reaching a 10-point deficit, you've got to be excited about 2.
Absolutely, because you get it to a 2-point game. You were down double digits. Bryce Beamer with his 3rd 3 of the first half. Yeah, you feel good heading to the locker room. Even though you're trailing on the scoreboard, you're only down by 2 points. You were able to make a nice little run here at the end of the first half.
So the Central Florida Patriots, the Broward Seahawks here in game 1 of our quadruple header today. Region 8 men's and women's basketball tournaments here over the course of the next few days, and we're as excited as could be to be here. The Central Florida Patriots and the Broward Seahawks off to a rousing start here, 40-38, so 78 combined first half points. We'll give you a look at some of our first half numbers as well as preview the second half and look at the rest of the slate that we've got coming up today and over the course of the next few days here live from Northwest Florida State College in Niceville, Florida. He's Mike Rideout. I am Jake Mitchell. He's RJ Murdoch, the man that runs the ship here. So we're excited that you're here with us, and we hope that you join us for the second half. I want to remind you can find us EmeraldCoastTV.com, as well as the YouTube page Emerald Coast TV, the Facebook page Emerald Coast TV, and you can find us on the Roku apps as well as the Amazon Fire TV app. So those are all the places you can get us. And again, 1 half underway, but we've got a ton of basketball left for you here over the course of the next few days. So again, I'm Jake Mitchell. He's Mike Rideout. We'll rejoin you here for the second half live from Niceville, Florida. Welcome back in, ladies and gentlemen. Second half of action set to go here. Game 1 of 4 contests that we have today. Central Florida and Broward, the Patriots and Seahawks playing a tight one here in this one. 38-40 to score. The Seahawks lead by a couple. And an interesting game where both teams are doing it in very different ways. I'm Jake Mitchell. He's Mike Rideout. We thank you for joining us here for the second half of action on Emerald Coast TV. We're in Niceville, Florida on the campus of Northwest Florida State College, here Raider Arena for the Region 8 men's and women's basketball tournament. Mike, takeaways from the first half in this one.
Well, the numbers are actually pretty even across the board. Broward shot 46.4% in the first half compared to 45.2%. Broward out-rebounded Central Florida 19-17. They outscored Central Florida 16-12 in the paint. But the difference for me, lots of turnovers on both sides. 14 for Central Florida, 11, and only 3 assists for Broward College. And we start with a turnover. So that's going to be the key. I think the team that can limit their turnovers in the second half, all things said, may come out the winner. Now, we could be, again, watching what could be the final Central Florida men's basketball game unless they were able to win and move on, because as we noted in the first half, the president has decided to shut down 3 of the 5 teams to save $600,000 annually. Baseball and softball will still be offered at Central Florida. And for Broward College, again, this is their first state tournament appearance in 10 years, trying to make the best of it.
No good from Landon Kirkwood. It's gathered by Eduardo Delcadia, excuse me. Angelo Johnson. He got into foul trouble, missed a lot of the first half. Inside to Dieng, but the offensive foul.
It was a good lob pass, and I was wondering how he got so open. It's because he pushed underneath. So that will be the first on Dieng, 6'8" freshman. You know, one of the things to watch for Central Florida as well, they've got to get Waylon Napper going. The 6'1" freshman averages 15.8 a game. He only had 4 first-half points. And also Latrell Jones, who does a good job of coming off the bench. He averages 13.1, only 2 in the first half.
Rodney Lewis working with this one. He loses it, stolen by Angelo Johnson. Working up 3-on-3, gives Napper no good. Dieng gathers the rebound. He's fouled, so he'll go to the line. And a chance for Napper there. He's had a couple of those chances where he's worked to the basket, but not able to finish them. And Dieng will shoot 2.
Dieng from Africa and Inspire Preparatory. He emerged as a starter for the Patriots after the first round and has started ever since then. 48% field goal percentage in conference. Again, only a freshman.
A reminder for everything else related to this tournament here, it's going to be Twitter at Region 8 Hoops is the place to go to check out all the video. That's the Roman numeral, by the way. So you're going to look up at Region VIII Hoops, and that's going to be your hub for a lot of the teams showing up, the teams slapping the logo on the bracket and all other things related to this tournament.
That was a big free throw by Dieng. He only shoots 40% from the line, able to hit 1 of 2. So now they got a chance, Jake, to take the lead.
Johnson off the Delcadia screen. He'll pull up from the elbow. He's no good there. Gathered by Napper. Napper going to put it back up. Napper can't get it to go once again. Gathered by Ajongo. Still a 1-point ball game here. Jenkins, nice behind the back pass. Inside, but can't get anything done with it, was Trandon Smith.
That will be the 13th turnover by the Seahawks. Landon Kirkwood was off the floor, but he's going to check in. Ajongo's going to check out along with Trandon Smith for Broward.
And Landon Kirkwood was a huge spark for these Seahawks in the first half. They jumped out to a double-digit lead at one point, and that was sparked by a couple of huge forced turnovers by Kirkwood. Man they call Rondo now with the basketball. He kicks to Napper. Napper working, dishes inside to Delcadia. Delcadia tries to put it up. He's whistled. So the Patriots will shoot 2 once again. And second half of this one off to a different start than the first half. More fouls, more stoppages here to get things going in this second 20 minutes.
You know, and that's what Broward College was able to do in the first half. You mentioned Kirkwood and the way he played. He got to the free throw line 8 times. They were 11 of 14 from the free throw line compared to just 3 of 5 for Central Florida.
And of course, if anyone tuning in happens to be a little confused, the College of Central Florida, not the Central Florida that many are used to, the black and gold, the national championships, no matter how legitimate.
The national champions.
That's a debate for 6 months from now. It's March, and Landon Kirkwood making the most of his action here in March. He's putting it in there and continuing to keep this Seahawks team in front.
And again, he's going to have a chance to play at the next level, offered from Lamar University, Chicago State in North Texas.
And at halftime, as I walked around and, you get up, stretch your legs, noticed a few different sweatsuits. I noticed a UT Martin sweatsuit. I noticed a couple other sweatsuits. So, the scouts are here, and the scouts are checking out what is going to be an awesome, awesome day of basketball. We got 3 more games after this, by the way. Florida Southwestern and Gulf Coast coming your way after this one, and then our evening session is going to be a ton of fun as well.
Yeah, that's the #1 team in the country, Florida Southwestern State College. Tallahassee ranked 10th nationally.
Definitely hope we see those 2 teams match up on Saturday evening. Kicks up to Lewis. Now Burkott. And Kirkwood once again, a great team possession there. It was Kirkwood that finished it off, but you gotta love the passing around the perimeter there from the Seahawks.
Yeah, he was able to get to the line in the first half. That's his second field goal. Here he goes again.
And there's Landon Kirkwood, and he slams it home. So Landon Kirkwood putting his stamp on this one, and this is back to a 7-point ball game.
Little showtime for the D1 transfer from Cal State Fullerton.
Beamer from the corner. He's good.
Boy, they needed that. That's the 4th 3 of the game for Bryce Beamer. He's got 16. He came in averaging 7.7 a game, so well above his average, and they've needed every point.
Tie up there between a threesome of Delcadia. It looked like Jaron Williams and then Andre Anderson.
And Kirkwood has checked out. He's limping to the bench. In fact, he has walked beyond the bench, and the trainer's going to have a look at him. I didn't see what happened.
Do not want to see that if you are the Seahawks. This guy has been, I mean, we've mentioned it several times. I feel like a broken record already. This guy's been the spark.
Well, he has outscored Central Florida 6-4 to the start of the second half.
Another extended break to wipe up the floor here.
I like it. They've got motion. Look at the motion going on, and we haven't even thrown the ball in bounds. Some teams will just stand around when the ball is in play.
So Kirkwood back over to the bench, and I know we've got viewers that have a vested interest in Kirkwood. I noticed comments from, looked like maybe friends, extended family on the broadcast, so we'll definitely be sure to keep an eye on that situation and get you an update when we can. Napper kicks out to Beamer. Beamer good from deep is Bryce Beamer, so almost single-handedly putting him back in this one is Beamer.
Boy, where has he been? 19 points today for the redshirt freshman. One of the best per attempt shooters in the state. He averaged 37% from behind the arc.
Inside is Jenkins, now a Jongo. Oh, he had the path if he wouldn't have lost the basketball right there. Yeah, he was getting ready to slam that
and
one.
A great pass from his sophomore, Darian Jenkins, too.
Just like that, looks like Kirkwood is getting ready to check back in. So,
indeed, that's good news. Well, they're going to say 2 shots.
Oh, Delcadia doesn't like that. He's showing his frustration. Django will shoot 2.
Second foul on Bryce Beamer. Django 1 for 2 from the line today.
Long on that one, so. Yeah, there's Kirkwood checking back in and giving Django the dap. So it looks like he's all good. Django set to shoot the second one.
6'9" sophomore holds an offer from Chicago State.
So 2 of 4 now is Django here early on. Give to Napper. He'll take it all the way and put it in. Tying this ball game is Waylon Napper.
Yeah, and that's the guy that I said they need to get going. Napper, player of the year in the conference, averaging 15.8 a game. That's just his 6th point.
Stolen there by Napper after the tip from Jones. Kicks up to Johnson. Johnson thought about it. Now Delcadia from the right wing. No good there. He's short, gathered by Burkott.
Great look, though. Good ball movement to get to the open man.
Landon Kirkwood. He's top of the key to Burkott. Now inside Django. Django just too easy there, man. The perfect lob pass just put him in position for that layup.
He averages 11.4. That's his 10th point.
Napper gonna drive baseline, spins out inside to Johnson, who lost his footing, keeps the basketball though. There Burkott wanted it. 10 on the shot clock, throws it up at the rim, no good. Napper tried to steal it away, gathered by Burkott. He's all on his own though, it's blocked by Jones, and Napper gathers the rebound. He's gonna take it all the way himself, tipped by Burkott, but 2.
Let's see, they did call a foul, I believe. Maybe not. But that was a 4-point swing.
Well, I was gonna, the whistle there may have been a goaltend call because
okay.
it did look like he got to it late. So
yeah.
I think he called the goaltend and then ball goes in. And
yeah.
No harm, no foul.
So, and it all started with the defensive play by Jones. He got the block at the other end. So a 4-point swing, and here we are, tie it again, Jake.
Kirkwood inbounds, Lewis bringing it up. Couldn't ask for a better way to start today. This is a fantastic basketball game. Lewis pulls up from mid-range and nails it.
That puts him in double figures now with 10 points. Freshman from Atlanta, Georgia, all Southern Conference first-team selection.
Jones can't get it to go. Anderson now with it. Django hands to Lewis. Lewis gonna take all the way. He's picked up by 3 Patriots. Kirkwood, he drives baseline, loses it. Django picks it up, and back to Kirkwood, who gets another 2. Back to a 4-point lead for the Seahawks.
And Kirkwood has matched his total for the first half. 8 in the first half, 8 to start the second half.
Cross-court Ortiz in the corner. He's going to pull up. He's long on that one. Gathered by Beamer, but blocked by Django. Anderson working on Ortiz. Kicks. Lewis. .12 on the shot clock. Lewis pulls up. Short on that one. Johnson, stolen away by Lewis. Picked up by Ortiz. We'll see what the Seahawks do. Gives to Kirkwood, and then a tip pass to Django. A great look there from Kirkwood. And Kirkwood frustrated. Kirkwood wanted Django to just take it up and slam it down.
Yeah, go up with authority.
So a stoppage there. This one back to a 4-point ball game. 12:50 remaining, and man, if you're the Patriots, the thing that stands out to me is they're under the basket 4 or 5 occasions in the last 5 minutes of gameplay. They missed at least 5 point-blank shots right there that they just, whether it was the defense, whether it was rushing it, they had a lot of missed opportunities right in that circle.
Yeah, and it happened in the first half too. We saw him miss a lot of easy buckets, but still, you're still within striking distance, only down 4. Still a lot of time left in this game, just under 13 minutes to play. Central Florida shooting 42.9% from the floor, and they'd probably be up around 50% if they were hitting these shots. They'd certainly be out in front, but again, long way to go in this one. I wanted to get back to Anthony Anderson, the head coach of Broward College. I mentioned in the first half, he's got 25 plus years of coaching experience, 22 at the Division I level. He spent 2 years as head coach at New Orleans Dillard University, where he helped that school's program recover from the effects of Hurricane Katrina. And again, he has led Broward to the state tournament, their first appearance in 10 years, and he's done it in just his second season. And they've been able to do it without DeAndre Pinckney, who suffered a season-ending foot injury. Now, on the other side, Central Florida, I'll talk a little bit about their head coach, Tim Ryan. He led the Patriots to the first national championship in 2013, a record of 349 wins and 135 defeats over 15 seasons. He was inducted into the 2014 FCSAA Men's Coaches Basketball Hall of Fame. National Coach of the Year in 2013. It'll be interesting to see where he will end up, since Central Florida will not have basketball next year. They've been very blessed to have Tim Ryan as their head coach now in his 16th year.
And what a tough just situation.
Yeah.
I mean, to build a program for 15 years and then have it just due to just simple budget cuts go away is a tough thing to deal with. But, you know, mention how solid this game has been so far. A lot of turnovers in this one, yes, and we talked about some of those point-blank misses, but I think part of the reason this game has been so fun to watch has been these teams are shooting the ball well. I mean, aside from, you know, a lot of the point-blank, you know, kind of mishaps we've seen, 48% from the field is Broward, and you know, the Patriots just 42%, but they're shooting 47% from 3. So you've got two teams that are doing things really well. This is not by any means a game where you just say, oh, a lot of scoring, bad defense. These teams know how to shoot the basketball.
Well, I mentioned in the first half, you should probably buckle your seatbelt because Central Florida averages 83 points a game. Broward averages 91.6 points per game.
Beamer thought about it, gives back to Johnson. Just 12:40 left in this one. 6-point lead for the Seahawks. Napper is good from the corner.
And I said that's the guy they needed to get going. He's got 7 points in the second half, only had 4 in the opening half.
Anderson inside to Django. Picked up by Landon Kirkwood, and Landon Kirkwood continues to just drive this Broward team.
10 of his 18 here in the second half.
Waylon Napper right in front of us. Kicks cross court to Bryce Beamer. He's going to pull up from deep. He's no good on that one. Gathered by Anderson. And, you know, second half warm-ups, Beamer was right in front of us. That Raider logo with the gray basketball you see on your screen to the right, that's where he was warming up from. So Beamer can take him from deep, and he's used to it. Lewis takes all the way and fouled by Beamer.
And that's number 3 on Beamer. So Beamer with 3, Johnson with 3. Nocadia with 3. This is the one thing that Broward has been able to do is attack the basket and get to the free throw line. I mentioned they shot 14 free throws in the first half. They made 11 of them. This will be their 5th and 6th trip to the line here early in the second half. Lewis now 3 for 3.
This will be the 20th foul shot for the Seahawks compared to just 9 for the Patriots. And they're making them too. They're 15 and 19 so far in this one. Another case of the announcer jinx there.
Right.
We're off to a hot start when it comes to the jinxes. We've had 3 or 4 today. Waylon Napper, though, on the positive side of the announcer jinx, you mentioned that he needed to get going, and by God, he's gotten going.
Yeah, averaging 15.8 a game. He has scored 9 of his 13 here in the second half. That was big to bring it back to a 4-point game. So this one's still far from over with just under 12 minutes to play in the game. You mentioned earlier, coming up next, Florida Southwestern State College and Gulf Coast State. Gulf Coast has not won a state title since 1972. They got their hands full against the #1 team in the country. A little bit later, State College of Florida looking for their first state title since 1985. They're playing nationally ranked Tallahassee, which is 10th in the country, looking for their first state championship since 2011. And then tonight at 8 o'clock Central Time, Indian River. They haven't won state since 1975. They've got Eastern Florida State, which hasn't won it in 20 years. New champion, though, this year. As we mentioned at the top of the broadcast, Northwest Florida State, the two-time defending state champions. They've won 4 of the last 5. They are not here. So it opens the door for somebody else to win state.
Yeah, and we're live here from Raider Arena. You mentioned that Northwest Florida State team actually went winless in conference play this year. So a tough transition from the Steve DeMayo era. And if you've joined us all year here at Emerald Coast TV, you've seen a lot of those Raider games. And while the men's team may be down, one thing to mention, tomorrow we're going to have women's basketball all day long. We have 4 women's games tomorrow, and the 6 o'clock slot will be occupied by the Northwest Florida State Raiders. And right as the men's program here goes down, the women rise up, and they had a tremendous season. So for the hosting program, it's an interesting year where one team down, one team at their heights. But back into this one between the College of Central Florida and Broward College. As good as it gets here, 58-54. Jongo from the elbow, no good, short. Picked up by Beamer, and Johnson will regather. Driving baseline is Latrell Jones, kicks inside to Beamer. Beamer no good. Picked up by Delcadia. Delcadia puts it back up. He is no good, and Broward makes it tough for the Patriots to get anything when they go inside. Picked up there and tied up. Rodney Lewis and
Official did a good job of pulling Lewis out of there, didn't he?
He looked like Big John McCarthy going into, you know, when you see the UFC stoppages and the ref has to just yank the guy off of him.
Yeah.
That's what it looked like.
I can appreciate that, though, before it leads to much worse.
And maybe it's you know, nothing to worry about. But pregame, you did have a situation in which Broward's being as loud as they can, and Central Florida on the other end of the court kind of counters, and there was no jostling or anything like that. But there was certainly at the beginning or prior to this one some emotion and some you know, back and forth at least of words and sounds. But
I mean,
you're a clean basketball game so far.
Yeah, your season's on the line. The loser goes home. You want to try to get to Kansas for the national tournament. Officials are going to separate now and have a discussion. Teams are going to be sent to their benches. And I think they're going to maybe even look at our monitor for a replay to see. Okay, didn't have the replay monitor, unfortunately, up for that one. And that happened on the other side from us, so we didn't get a great look at it.
Well, that's kind of the interesting divide at this level of basketball is, you know, is there replay ability? Is there not? You know, a lot of schools at this level, and you know, at lower levels, some have the video regularly, some don't have it regularly. So that's the one kind of interesting split here at this level where we've done the conference games all year, and not you, Mike, but here at Emerald Coast TV, and we've never had the officials ask for a replay. And so that's I think an interesting kind of divide where, you know, at some places you have it, at some places you don't. Some officials want to use the replay, some don't. Beamer no good there, but yeah, that kind of an interesting kind of conversation to have about as landed Kirkwood once again breaking the game. But no, it's an interesting conversation to have, which is in 2020 when different forms of media are so available to different schools, but some haven't jumped on it yet. You know, how do you approach that?
Well, and the concern is whether, you know, a foul is a flagrant foul, and it gives you an opportunity to go back and look at that, as that's Lewis streaking to the basket. He's got 5 of his 13 here in the second half, and all of a sudden, Broward pulling away, Jake.
And right as they start to, a basket there, bringing it back to a 6-point ball game.
Napper again, player of the year in the conference. He's been giving them an opportunity in this second half. 11 second half points.
Kirkwood, how about the tricky pass out of the pressure? Now a lob up to Kirkwood. Kirkwood long, but he draws the foul, so he'll shoot 2 free throw shots.
Yeah, Latrell got him from the backside. Second foul, Latrell Jones. So again, here's Broward going to the free throw line. They've been pretty successful there today, 15 of 20. I do want to say that this is a beautiful arena.
No, getting a chance to do here games on a regular basis during the conference slate is absolutely a blast. As Kirkwood nails that one,
and I can tell you, being to, you know, several smaller Division I schools, it does rival what you get at the Division I level.
Oh, as someone that's from this area, I think every once in a while you got to take a step back, and you've got a great basketball arena here. In playing football in high school, got to play at Choctaw, where that stadium is Joe Etheridge Stadium in Fort Walton Beach, is far bigger than your typical high school stadium. So
yeah,
facilities around here for athletes are really nice, and really get an opportunity as Delcadia whistle there and no basket. But now the facilities at several of the different schools around this area are really nice, and this is an area that we always feel is a little underrated, but that chip on the shoulder kind of drives you to create a place like this that is so nice and so beautiful.
And I believe, wasn't it the Niceville girls that just brought home a soccer state championship?
Believe so, yes, the Niceville girls. The Choctaw boys team went deep into the postseason, so Beamer there, he's going to take all the way. Good is Bryce Beamer. Brings this one back to a 6-point game. We're under 10 minutes now. Jenkins from the left, though. He's no good. Chance to step on the momentum. Rondi Lewis no good there, so 2 chances for the Seahawks. And Patriots another chance. Johnson pulls up, and he's good. Makes this a 3-point ball game.
That's his first points of the second half. A little step back 3. He's got his second 3 of the game. And I mentioned Broward was pulling away, but here comes Central Florida.
Whistle there called on Jaron Williams.
Yeah, Lewis got bailed out. He almost traveled, lifted up that pivot foot. Contact was made, though, to save the possession. Central Florida with 20 turnovers today. Broward, though, with 15.
Anderson inbound, looking for Kirkwood, but Kirkwood was covered up by Patriots. Now they've got a 3-on-1 advantage. Napper going to take it all away, puts it in, and makes this a 1-point basketball game. Anderson crosses half court. Over to Jenkins now, inside to Kirkwood at the free throw line. Lewis thinking about it. He gives to Kirkwood now at the elbow. Jenkins, he's wide open at the top of the key, and he nails it.
That's his first points of the second half. He's right on his average now. He scored 13 in the first half. He averages 16.2 a game. Transfer from two transfer from Long Island University Post.
Napper going to shoot free throws on this one. 8:04 remaining, 4-point ball game. Right as the Patriots bring it to 1. Big 3 from the Seahawks that extends the lead once again. Now Napper shooting 2 with a chance to shrink that margin again. This will be the 10th and 11th foul shots compared to the 22 that Broward has shot. Rodney Lewis Jr. takes a seat. Trandon Smith will check into this one. Napper with the second. And he's no good. Rims out there, gathered by Ajongo. Ajongo tries to dish out, gives to Anderson. Corner Jenkins, no good. Picked up by Smith, and Smith gets subbed in and immediately puts his mark on this one.
Rebound number 32 for the Seahawks. They've out-rebounded the Patriots by 3 today. It's a big offensive rebound.
Napper chases his own shot, gets his own rebound, and puts it in for 2.
16 points in the second half for Napper.
Jenkins, kick to Smith, 10 on the shot clock. Kirkwood nails it. Landon Kirkwood, every time that the Patriots try to bring this one back to even, it seems like Landon Kirkwood is there to snuff out the momentum.
How about 17 second half points for him?
Grabs that big rebound. Jenkins loses it. That was another fast break opportunity, and looked like a situation where Kirkwood may be able to get another 2 points, but no, he is as good as he was in that first half. He has really turned it on in this second half, and if the Seahawks are able to hold on to this victory, I think we've got an early candidate for player of the game in this one.
Yeah, 25 for the game for Landon Kirkwood. All Southern Conference first team selection. The team's second leading scorer in conference play, second on the team in three-pointers made. So believe it or not, that was his first 3 of the game.
So 6:46 remaining in this one, 72-66 the score. Seahawks in the lead. Winner of this one will play Friday at 1 p.m. in semifinal number 1 against the winner of game 2. So it won't be more than a couple of hours before the winner of this one finds out who their opponent is. That'll be game 2 of our doubleheader. As you take a look at the Broward sideline, they're looking to hold on to the lead here, but you'll have winner of this one playing the winner of our second game again on Friday at 1 Central Time, and then our 2 evening games tonight, you'll have the winner of those 2 games play at 3 p.m. on Friday. The women getting the primetime slate on Friday and Saturday. They'll get the 6 p.m. slot, the 8 p.m. slot, and then Saturday the 7:30 slot. The hosting Northwest Florida State Raiders, of course, hoping to play in those primetime games, those main event slots kind of the night.
Once again, our winner will advance to Hutchinson, Kansas for the NJCAA Division I Men's Basketball Championships. But we could have as many as 3 teams advance. That's the most we could have, because there is the possibility that we could have as many as 2 at-large teams. I mentioned 3 nationally ranked teams. Central Florida's one of them. If they were to lose this game, would it be enough to get them in as an at-large? You just don't know at this point. Depends on what happens around the country, but got a chance to take care of business here against Broward.
Napper kicks to Johnson. No good. He's short on that one. Almost gathered by Delcadia, but lost, will remain with the Patriots. But yeah, the road to Hutchinson starts today. The hashtag Road to Hutch. That's Road 2, as in the number 2 Hutch. That's way to talk about this one if you're on social media. Kicks out to Beamer. Good from the left wing is Bryce Beamer.
Jake, that's the 6th 3 of the game for the redshirt freshman. He's kind of been overshadowed a little bit. You know, we've been talking about the play in the second half, as you see Lewis answer again, but 24 points for Bryce Beamer. Napper has been the guy in the second half for Central Florida, and of course we've talked about Kirkwood all game. But Beamer came in averaging just 7.7 a game, and he's got 24 points.
Yeah, the three-point shot is working for Beamer. It's fitting. He's wearing the number 3, the shooting sleeve, the kind of the Rip Hamilton face mask. He's definitely looking the part here in this one. And when you look good, you feel good. When you feel good, you play good, right?
Yeah.
It's the primetime Deion Sanders mantra as Angelo Johnson shoots that one and puts it in.
Captain of the Patriots, first team all Mid-Florida Conference selection, averages 11.2 a game. That's his 9th point.
Nails the second, does Johnson. Trailing by 3 now. They look to fend off the Seahawks, but every time the Patriots make it close, it seems like Broward's able to answer. Smith there, no good. Napper on the rebound. Splits the guard. Kicks up to Delcadia. Delcadia had a couple of those deep passes for assists. There he's the recipient of one. They leave Jenkins wide open in the corner. He can't connect on it, but a big defensive miss there that you're fortunate doesn't come back to bite you.
But a foul on Broward, and Central Florida will go to the line with a chance to take the lead. This will be a 1-and-1 coming up. Patriots with 5:35 to play can take their first lead in a long time with a couple of free throws here. Brandon Smith picks up the foul. That's his 3rd. He's going to check out.
Johnson over on the sideline. He's getting worked on.
Good free throw shooter, too, at 83.2%.
Looked like maybe lower back for Johnson. Looked like they were working on him a little bit on the sideline, so we'll keep an eye on that. But with 5:35 and remaining in this one, you've got to imagine the mentality for him is to just let the adrenaline ride him out and come home with a victory as they take the lead. 1-point lead now, 75-74. They're finally able to crack it, but again, 5 minutes remaining. We'll see what the Seahawks answer with. The Django can't get it. Delcadia almost grabbed it. Instead, Lewis kicks to Kirkwood now. 12 on the shot clock, gathered by Jenkins. Jenkins takes all the way, but he's whistled. Doesn't get up a great attempt, but draws the foul call, and he'll shoot 2. Both in the bonus now, by the way. An important note as we enter this final 5, this 312 seconds left in this one.
And Jake, that foul was on Bryce Beamer. That's number 4 on him.
Another stoppage appears to wipe up maybe something slick on the floor. In 5-12 and in the postseason when it's win or go home and every second is so important, you look at that 5-12 and you go, oh man, things are getting real now. 1-point game. Yeah. Patriots made this one back into a tight one. All right, so now set to shoot the free throws. Arian Jenkins.
Jenkins currently has offers from Maryland, Eastern Shore, and North Texas. And that's going to put him above his average at 16.2 a game. He now has 17.
Possession arrow in the direction of the Seahawks, by the way, and Could become a big factor here late in this one. Tie ball game now.
Does he want another basketball?
Now we're wiping down the basketball.
Yeah.
So.
You don't see that happen that often.
Jenkins hits that one. A reminder, game 2 coming up just shortly after this one.
You know, Broward College has been able to get to the foul line today 24 times. They've made 19 of them.
And Napper working on Anderson. Napper looking, gives to Delcadia. Delcadia will pull up from mid-range. He's good. So the big man with a nice jump shot there to put the Patriots back in the front.
Fourth Central Florida player in double figures today.
Oh, a nice dribble move from Anderson. Puts Beamer on his heels and gets to the basket.
He only averages 3.1 a game, but that's his first points of the game. And it's big here in crunch time. We seesaw the other way. Back and forth game, Jake.
Over 4 minutes remaining in this one. Johnson takes all the way, kicks to Napper, kicks over to Delcadia now. Johnson in the corner, he'll pull up. He's no good, gathered by a Jongo. Up to Lewis. Patriots sideline wanted a travel call there. They don't get it, though. Kirkwood, top of the key. Anderson waves off Jenkins. We'll see what the Seahawks have in mind here. He drives on Napper. We'll see what the whistle. Block foul called on Napper, and you see Tim Ryan just fall to the floor. He does not like that call whatsoever. And that's a massive whistle there and a massive decision.
I think I agree with the call, though. It didn't look like there was intent to push him away. And maybe even a little bit of a flop there. I mean, because he went flying and he didn't hit him that hard. Napper trying to plead his case, but he won't win that argument. Anderson shoots 65.6% from the line.
Gets the first one. It gives the Seahawks a 2-point lead, 3:43 left in this one. Single elimination, so this is the last 3:43 of the season for one of these programs. And
10 of 12 from the line in the second half, 21 of 26 for the game.
Inside Beamer, a nice dish there. It's fitting that they called Jaron Williams Rondo because that was a point guard-like move right there.
It was.
Just finding Beamer right under the basket, and he puts in an easy 2. Hear that Kirkwood stepped out there.
I think he stepped on the sideline, yeah.
Started to gather, so the rare mistake from Landon Kirkwood.
18 turnovers today.
Johnson crossing half court. Takes the Delcadio screen. Cross court to Beamer. Beamer going to drive baseline on Jenkins. Beamer floats it in.
Well, I haven't seen Central Florida play this year, and I'm not sure why Bryce Beamer only averages 7.7 points a game, because he is an efficient shooter from the floor. He can take you inside. He can hit from deep. He had 13 first half points, and he's got 15 second half points. Are you kidding me?
3 minutes left in this one. Broward with a 2-point lead, and 1-point lead. They're correcting the scoreboard right now. It was flipped, so Patriots with 81 and Broward with 80. But we welcome you back into our broadcasting position. 3 minutes remaining in this one, and first of 4 games we've got today. So if you're a basketball fan, don't press a button. Don't click away. Just stay right here, Emerald Coast TV, whether you're on the YouTube page, the Facebook page, the Fire TV app, the website, any of those. This is the place to be for the next 3 days as we bring you the Region 8 men and women's basketball tournaments. And couldn't ask for a better start here. Thrilling game, 81-80. Both offenses living up to their reputations. Both score 80-plus a night. And the Patriots right now a 1-point lead. They've trailed most of this one, though, and Broward looking to recapture that momentum they had earlier in this one.
Yeah, and it's, actually the first meeting between these two teams, but it really has been back and forth because Central Florida led early in the game. They led by, I believe, 7. Yeah, led by 7 at the 15:36 mark of the first half. And then Broward took a double-digit lead in the first half. Central Florida, though, was able to close the gap to just a 2-point game at the half, and both teams have kind of gone back and forth. We've seesawed, now with Central Florida in the lead with 3 minutes to play. So this one has been fun. Great start to our day, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. Jake Mitchell, and he's Mike right out as we bring you the Region 8 tournament here, and can only hope that every game plays out similar to this one. Lewis takes all the way. Rushes past Napper, and they regain the lead. Napper doesn't waste any time, though. He takes it completely coast to coast and says, I'll do this myself. Jenkins to Anderson, 2.5 minutes left in this one. Patriots 1-point lead. Jenkins on the right wing. Gives to Lewis. Over to Ajongo. Lewis now working on Beamer. Spins, pulls up, long. Rebounded by Ajongo. Puts it right back in. Gives the Seahawks the lead.
Well, he used his height advantage, the 6'9" sophomore.
Napper on in the corner.
That's right on Central Florida's average of 83 a game.
Wow, stolen away. A ill-advised pass by Napper there.
Timeout call by Broward College. "21 turnovers for the Patriots today."
And Anthony Anderson not happy at all with Rodney Lewis Jr. Not sure what it was on that possession, but we get down to 144 here, a 1-point lead for the Seahawks, and this is the best way you could have asked to open up this tournament.
Well, and Central Florida knew that it was going to be tough. Even though the Patriots came in nationally ranked, Broward College shot 54.8% from the floor on the year. That's number 2 in the country in field goal percentage, and today they're at 50%. They're averaging 91.6. You feel like they're going to get pretty close to that number today. This is a tough matchup for Central Florida against a team that hasn't been here in a while. 10 years since their last state tournament appearance.
And the in-arena music, it doesn't get more fitting than that. The goal right now is staying alive. And
right.
This is
absolutely.
Win and you advance, lose, and you're out. And there's extra meaning to that for the College of Central Florida. And it's the unfortunate cloud that hangs over this team and this program is that their last game this season will be their last game for at least the foreseeable future, as the program will be put on hold due to budget cuts at the College of Central Florida. And you mentioned it earlier, baseball and softball remain, and that's the tough thing you face as an AD is, picking and choosing what stays. Unfortunately, it's the basketball program that's going to be put on hold.
Yeah, and volleyball's been pretty good, and that one is going to be gone as well.
No better way to go out than with a win in this tournament, though, and that's what College of Central Florida wants to do. But with over a minute left, Broward trying to keep that from happening. Rodney Lewis drains a three, so right after getting chewed out going to the bench, he comes out, he says, I'll drain a three, I'll fix things. And Jansen trying to make it happen himself, kicks to Napper in the corner. Waylon Napper counters with a three. And Beamer and...
Yeah, they got tangled up underneath.
Like Darian Jenkins, yeah, got tangled up.
But it was a big shot at the other end with the shot clock winding down, and Napper comes back to answer. He hits his second three of the game, both here in the second half. Napper now with 25 points, Beamer with 28 to lead the Patriots, and we got ourselves a 1-point game with a little over a minute to play.
And here in kind of the, I guess you'd call them the championship rounds per se, these two teams are trading haymakers. Yeah. Every time that Broward makes a shot on one end of the court, the Patriots are countering with a very similar in terms of momentum, whether it's a big three, whether it's, you know, a deep pass down the court. I mean, both of these teams, when one of them lands a haymaker, the other one says, all right, I'll land one on you. I mean, this is just as good as it gets.
Kudos to the music guy. I don't know if that's the PA announcer playing this music. You mentioned the Staying Alive music that was playing earlier. Now you got the Right Here, Right Now, Fat Boy Slim. I mean, it's just been great. You know, everything from the play on the floor to the environment. Man, this is great.
106.66 seconds remaining in one of these teams' seasons. Possession arrow still on the Broward side. We haven't had a jump ball situation yet. That could be huge here in the last minute of this one. We'll see.
And again, maybe in their season, because Central Florida could still lose and still possibly get an at-large berth. They're number 18 in the country, 24-6 on the year. It would be obviously a feel-good story if they do lose to be able to still get a berth in the national tournament, knowing this is their last year.
You know that's not how they want to do it.
No,
they want to win this game. They're looking at this last minute and they're saying we're gonna win this one. We may have been trailing most of the time.
Absolutely right. Just trying to draw a silver lining for Patriot fans out there.
Oh, absolutely.
But yeah, you got a minute to play. You want to win this game. You're right.
Anderson kicks to Lewis, right wing. 12 on the shot clock. 45 seconds. Kirkwood gets it to go home. And draws the foul, so a chance for an and one. And in crunch time, who else but Landon Kirkwood? Stretches it to a 3-point margin.
19 second half points for him. And by the way, that's the 5th foul on Bryce Beamer. He will foul out with 28 points today. Came in averaging 7.7 a game. That's a big loss for Central Florida. Comes with 44 seconds to play.
Latrell Jones will replace Beamer. Kirkwood, chance to make it a 4-point game. This is a huge free throw. And you can't ask for a better shot there. Napper, though, a deep pass. Napper gets it to go home. So again, the haymakers continue to be traded. 40 seconds. 2-point ball game. Jenkins takes all the way. Great defense from Dalcadia. He was right. Just straight up and down. Now Johnson, a beautiful reverse layup, brings this game even. And that is as tough as it gets. Angelo Johnson gets a beautiful reverse layup to go home and then goes down. He's at the baseline. Definitely in some pain. We mentioned earlier there was a set of free throws where he was over on the sideline getting his, appeared to be lower back worked on, but there's a little bit of a limp there as well. So Angelo Johnson working with,
yeah, he's going to check out.
Yeah, what appears to be a couple of ailments there. 27.8 left. That's a tough point to lose your point guard.
Philip Ortiz has replaced him. Number 15 in white. So here we go. Shot clock is turned off. Tie ball game. Somebody's going to win or we're going OT.
Can't go wrong with some free basketball in the first matchup of this tournament. Here we go. Anderson bringing it up, 25 seconds remaining. Ortiz waiting for him in the half-court line. Motion on both sides from the Seahawks. Kirkwood flashed inside, but instead it's Lewis out on the right wing. Lewis is guarded by Napper, 10 seconds. Lewis long, hauled in by Latrell Jones, 5 seconds, and a timeout. So they will stop this one, and after the miss there by the Seahawks, we have a 5.1 seconds tie ball game, and we'll see what Tim Ryan draws up. I mean, this is always when you talk about in basketball, what the mark of a great coach is, a lot of times, what do they do coming out of the timeout? Well, what does a coach in a situation draw up coming out of the timeout? That's, you know, the thing that guys like Brad Stevens are known for. You know, it's just, I mean, this is what it comes down to. It's this situation right here. What is Tim Ryan going to draw up? Can he get an open shot for one of his guys? And if that shot's open, can one of them knock it down? This is where you wish you had Bryce Beamer. I
think it's got to be Napper, though. I mean, the player of the year in the conference. He has scored 23 of his 27 in the second half. By the way, Angelo Johnson just got off the bench. He's going to check back in for the Patriots. But with only 5 seconds to play, I think you find a way. Maybe let Napper go coast to coast, you know, from where they throw it in at. I'm sure that's what Broward College will be talking about right now in their huddle.
Tie ball game, so obviously you don't need a three.
But if you get an open look, number 23 can knock it down.
Absolutely, absolutely. And this is a situation where you don't really have much of an opportunity to hold for the last shot. I'm always annoyed when teams have a chance at the last shot and the strategy is stand still for 20 seconds. But, you know, in this case, I think it's going to be, you know, run a set coming out and see what you can get. Tim Ryan almost all the way on the court here coaching Delcadia as they get set to run this final play. Both teams in the bonus possession arrow toward the Seahawks in the event that we have a tie-up within this 5 seconds. Waylon Napper, 3, 2, stolen away, and we will get overtime basketball. So a free period here.
It was Napper's game to win. Had the ball jarred loose.
And there's often, I've always heard this theory. The team that forces overtime is often the team that's going to go on to win the game. The team that is trailing for a lot of the game and has that late run to force the extra basketball, that's the Patriots in this case. They've got all the momentum right now. They were trailing for a lot of this one. They came back and were able to force overtime there. They had a chance to win it with that Napper possession, but I don't think there's a question right now who's got the momentum in this one.
It doesn't get any more even than this. We're tied at 90 at the end of regulation. Broward shooting 50.8%. Central Florida shooting 50.7.
Man.
Rebounds are 36-34 Broward.
You've got eight fouls on Broward in that second half, 9 on the College of College of Central Florida in that second half.
And the Seahawks had a chance to win it there.
Yeah, neither team in that last set of possessions with an opportunity to, or with the ability to cash in on that opportunity.
I'll be honest, I can't say with certainty who's going to win this game. You might say the Patriots have a little bit of an advantage, but remember now, Bryce Beamer fouled out. 28 points today, fouled out with 44 seconds to play in regulation, so they're one man short. And the way Kirkwood has played in the second half, you just don't know. Final countdown playing now.
$90 all. Here is the score as we head into overtime. Johnson on the sideline right now, just with the roller, stretching the calf out, it looked like. So
I don't know about some of these teams that they play. They might even be, you know, kind of preparatory type schools, but Broward played 3 games this year in which they scored 123 or more.
Wow.
They scored 142 against triple threat prep.
I mean, 123 is a number that more so nowadays, but most of the time in the NBA, you're not even hitting 123 most nights.
Yeah.
A little more regular in today's game, of course, but no good from Lewis to open the overtime period, so Napper going to bring it up. He'll take it coast to coast again. Waylon Napper puts it in and gets an early lead in this overtime period for the Patriots.
And that's what they were hoping for at the end of regulation, but he had the ball knocked loose.
Landon Kirkwood, he's been the hot hand for these Seahawks. Anderson, though, made a couple big plays late in that second half as well. Jenkins spins. Great defense from Latrell Jones there. Delcadia grabs it. Now Napper has the basketball, throws it up to Jones. So how about great plays on both ends by Latrell Jones? Anderson gives to Lewis, lost though by Delcadia. Now Angelo Johnson going to take it all the way, guarded by Kirkwood. Tries to send it off one of the Seahawks, does the man they call Rondo, but he regathers it right there on the mishap from Lewis. Gives to Latrell Jones. Another 2 for Latrell Jones. The Patriots have a 6-point lead early on in this overtime period.
Boy, they just have come out on fire here in overtime, and gonna have to wipe up the floor again. A slight limp to Angelo Johnson. He's kind of grimacing right now.
Yeah, he's definitely playing through some issues, and been a little bit of a limp there for him most of the second half, and we've seen him getting worked on a couple times. If you're the Patriots, I got to imagine you're not too happy with the stoppage there, because they had all the momentum in the world. Went from 90-90 to 90-96 in the blink of an eye. 15 on the shot clock. Kirkwood, see if he can re-spark this Seahawks team. He does with a nice layup there. Brings it back to a 4-point ball game. Waylon Napper off the Delcadia screen. Spins around. Dishes to Delcadia, who's not able to get it to go, so another point-blank miss. An issue from earlier in this one returns for the Patriots. Landon Kirkwood, short on that one. Kirkwood had a chance.
He's got 30 points today.
Patriots have to be grateful he didn't hit that one that was relatively open. Napper working on Jenkins off the Delcadia screen now. Delcadia. Latrell Jones, he tried to go inside, but he was bumped and did the splits there as he went down.
That was Kirkwood coming in to defend. Kind of smile on his face. He may have gotten away with one. There was contact. Timeout called by Broward.
Anthony Anderson had to use his full lung capacity to get that timeout called.
Again, Anthony Anderson, 25+ years of coaching, 22 at the Division I level. And just his second season, he's gotten Broward to the state tournament for the first time in 10 years. Also on his staff is Anthony Andre. First year, he's the former head coach at Daytona State College. The #1 team in the country looks on. They're coming up next. Florida Southwestern State College. against Gulf Coast, which is also looking on near the Broward bench.
Both waiting in the tunnel, and I noticed over in the Buccaneers side when Central Florida not able to win the game at the end of regulation, you saw a collective groan and a sigh. Because
they want to play.
There's nothing worse than being ready to play and having to wait another overtime period, man. But I'm not going to complain about overtime basketball here. Angelo Johnson, long pass up to Rondo. Wanted a backcourt call, did the Seahawks, but
that was with 1 second on the shot clock. They had to get that shot off.
More jostling for it. Ball will go to the Seahawks. 2:26 in this overtime period. They still trail by 4.
Actually, I think it's going to go to Central Florida. Jump ball, alternating possession.
We now have 5 different, excuse me.
They've recruited people. I don't think I've ever seen so many people wipe up the floor in a basketball game.
In all fairness, the doors, and I'm just completely hypothesizing right now, but the doors to come into this arena fairly close to the playing surface, and it is humid. It's as humid as could be right now, of course, in the middle of the panhandle of Florida. So I imagine that's not helping things.
But
now, like I said,
it's pretty cold inside the arena.
It is cool in here for sure. But this is the second of a few days in a row now that have been kind of overcast and kind of foggy and kind of muggy. So I don't, like I said, I don't know how much that affects things, but I imagine it doesn't help with the wetness in this one. Back into play now, Napper. Working on Anderson. Napper been the hot hand in the second half. He spins around, pulls up, well short. May have been tipped or...
Yeah, trying to pass it, but he probably should have taken the shot. The shot clock was winding down.
2 minutes. Ajongo tipped away by Delcadia, but gathered by Kirkwood. Back into Ajongo. Ajongo spins around Delcadia. Nice move and gets it to go home. So now a 2-point game, 1:45 left in this one.
And our first overtime.
No good there for Johnson. Johnson down once again. So it's 5-on-4, or was 5-on-4. Oh, if you're the Seahawks, you just missed an opportunity. Anderson was walking down court, and there is Landon Kirkwood. Slams it home to bring this game even.
I know that Landon Kirkwood has offers from Lamar University, Chicago State, and North Texas, but seeing him in person, he looks like he can play at a much higher level at the next level. 32 points today, 9 rebounds, approaching a double-double. And Ajongo, who had that basket on that nice spin move with a double-double. How about 16 points and 16 boards for him?
Yeah, the double-double from Ajongo as we welcome you back into our broadcast position. I'm Jake Mitchell. He's Mike Rideow, and you know, 96-96 in this one, down the stretch. You mentioned Kirkwood. If the Seahawks win in this game, I can't wait to watch Landon Kirkwood in the next game they play on Friday afternoon. Same with the Patriots. If we get to see Bryce Beamer again shooting, 30-foot threes, I'm all for it. This has been a great start, but 1:17 left. This has been a fantastic game. It's been as close as it gets. What do you see in this last minute 17 in terms of, if you're the Patriots, where do you go? Who's the hot hand?
Again, I still think it's Snapper for Central Florida and it's Kirkwood for Broward College. Those two guards have been very big here in the second half, especially considering that Bryce Williams has fouled out. I mean, he had a huge game today. Came in averaging under 8 points a game and scored 28.
Thank you for joining us again here on Emerald Coast TV. You can get us on the Facebook page. You can get us on the YouTube channel as well, the Roku app and the Amazon Fire TV app. A lot of places to get us here at Emerald Coast TV. hub being the website, emeraldcoasttv.com. We're glad you're joining us here. We'll have full coverage of this entire tournament next 4 days here, Wednesday through Saturday. Johnson tried to spin out of it. A blocking foul called on Lewis, so with 1:14 left, ball will remain with the Patriots.
Third foul on Rodney Lewis Jr. He also has picked things up offensively in the second half for Broward. 12 points, 12 of his 20. But going to come down to some free throws now. Broward has been very efficient, 22 of 27. Central Florida has only gotten to the line 15 times. They've connected on 9. And Johnson is 2 for 2 today from the free throw line. He'll shoot 2.
So good on that one is Johnson. The 5 in now as we approach this pivotal final minute. Number 1, Angelo Johnson. Number 4, Jaron Williams. And they call Rondo. Eduardo Delcadia, the other man, angling for the rebound. And Waylon Napper as well as Latrell Jones in for the Patriots as well. Landon Kirkwood inbounds to Anderson. And we've got Jenkins, Django, and Rodney Lewis Jr. in this one as well for the Seahawks. So those are the 10 men that will decide who advances here. Jenkins working. He's going to take all the way. He draws the whistle, and he'll shoot 2. So not able to get to the basket, but Jenkins a couple of times now in this game where hasn't really had much of an opening and has said, I'm going to draw the foul, and he's done it.
He's 4 for 4 from the line today. Seahawks have been able to do that, get to the free throw line. 28 and 29 coming up.
58.8.
That was also the 4th foul on Eduardo.
He can bring it even with this one. And that's exactly what he does. So Jenkins ties it up. Under a minute, tie ball game. This first overtime period. Could be set for a second one here. Latrell Jones hands to Napper. Napper looking. Napper drives, or excuse me, that was Angelo Johnson who gets it to go home. And the end one.
Put the ball in the hands of the captain. And he does come up limping. He's battling through it.
In the excitement of that, Latrell Jones tried to just pick his teammate right up, and Angelo Johnson goes, wait a second, man, it seems like every time Johnson's gone to the floor here in the second half, he's had trouble getting up.
16 points for AJ today.
Gutsy performance from him today has been hampered all day by various things. That was the 100th point, by the way, for the Patriots.
77% from the line. That's big.
Good, and Johnson lips off. He'll be replaced by Philip Ortiz. So Ortiz getting some very important minutes in this one with Johnson being hampered by minor injury. Anderson crosses half court, just over 30 seconds. Kirkwood going to take all the way, dish to Django. Nice pass from Landon Kirkwood. Whistle there, it was Django, and you hear Anthony Anderson on the far sideline say, why are you doing that? What's the 30 seconds left in this one? And unnecessary foul there by Django.
Yeah, it gets Central Florida a chance to score with the clock stopped. And that shot clock is about to be turned off. 0.7 seconds differential between the shot clock and the game clock.
So it's Rondo, Jaron Williams that's shooting 2. Nails the first. Double bonus for both teams.
Williams at 70.6%. As a team, Central Florida shoots 71.8.
And that possession arrow still on the Broward side. We haven't had a jump ball situation since at least the middle of the second half. Kirkwood here, stolen away by Latrell Jones, and Waylon Napper is finally the one that does it. Napper kicks to Latrell Jones. 17 remaining. Patriots lead by 2. A timeout there by Tim Ryan. So with an even 16 seconds left in this one, a stoppage. And the Patriots with a 2-point lead now under 20 seconds remaining in this one.
Well, you go for a steal on the inbounds, and if you don't get it, then you go ahead and foul right away. You just have to hope that they don't hit 2 free throws to make it a 2-possession game. But they did just miss 1 free throw.
Yeah, 13 of 20 are the Patriots, so not an automatic night from the foul line. It's an okay one, but
that turnover was big. 22nd turnover today for Broward College. But a good defensive play as you had the double team there by Jones and Williams, or Napper, excuse me.
Here inside Raider Arena, Northwest Florida State College in Niceville, Florida, the host of the District 8 men and women's championship tournaments. Men's basketball action all day today. We'll have women's action for you all day tomorrow. And then the semifinals from each side on Friday and the championship games Saturday evening. So again, if you're a basketball fan, this is the place to be, and this is the time of the year where you wish you could just keep it here year-round.
March Madness, love it. Favorite time of the year.
There's OVC tournaments. There's other mid-major tournaments around the country. We've got
Atlantic Sun.
Absolutely. Delcadia takes it inside, gets it to go. A huge basket from the Patriots. Makes it a 2-possession ball game with 10 seconds left. They're going to need something quick, are the Seahawks. Jenkins nails it from the right corner.
Wow.
Does Darian Jenkins. So 5 seconds left. All of a sudden, it's a 1-point game. I mean, if you're Broward, you go from a feeling of desperation where it becomes a double-digit game with 10 seconds. And just like that, Darian Jenkins with the 3. I mean, this game is as good as it gets. I don't think I've called a better game than this all year long. It's just back and forth.
It has been like this all day long. Again, Central Florida had that early lead in the first half. They were hitting the 3 early in the game. And then all of a sudden, Broward went on a little bit of a run, had a double-digit lead. But here in the second half, it's really been kind of a seesaw affair. Well, a huge 3 indeed to make this a 1-point game. So it's not over yet, but with only 5.3 seconds left, you can't waste any time here. You gotta go for the steal and commit the foul right away. The good news is, if you commit the foul and they hit 2 free throws, you still got a chance to tie the game.
Yeah, no, that Darian Jenkins 3 was massive in terms of, now, what do you, a second and a half, 2 seconds that go off as you try to get that foul. So if you're Broward, the idea is let's have at least 3 seconds on the clock and at least need to hit a 3 to tie and force a second overtime. I can tell you both teams in the tunnels right now don't want a second overtime.
This is an important inbounds play here.
Waylon Napper gives to Delcadia. And the whistle, so 4.1 remaining. They get the big man to shoot free throws. And if you're Broward, I don't think you can ask for that possession to play out any better than it just did.
Eduardo Delcadia is an 83.2% free throw shooter. He missed his first 3 free throws today. He's made his last 2. He'll shoot 2.
I don't think there's a bad free throw shooter on the court now for the Patriots. But if you can at least put the big man at the line, I guess that's the best situation you can have. But again, when you're 5 is shooting 80+% from the free throw line, that's basketball now. Big men can shoot free throws. 4.1, huge free throw here from Delcadia.
Sophomore gave a thumbs up. First team, all Mid-Florida Conference selection.
4.1. Jenkins bringing it up. 2-1. Jenkins, no good. And the Patriots. Yeah, that is exactly what the Patriots do. They trailed most of this game, but in the last 5 or so minutes, and then in the overtime period, they really turned it on. So the College of Central Florida, our first winner today, and you couldn't ask, as I've said before, for a better opening game in this one. College of Central Florida going to advance. We'll see them again 1 p.m. Central Time on Friday. They'll play the semifinal against the winner of our next game, Florida Southwestern, the top team in this tournament, going to take on the Gulf Coast of the Panhandle Conference. So Gulf Coast playing in not their home arena, but a familiar conference foe arena. And again, that's going to be a fascinating game too in this one. We'll take a break shortly as we get set for the second one. But first, Mike, let's just discuss that game we just saw. I mean, well, let's take a second to exhale. That was a tremendous basketball game. Overtime, and Emerald Coast TV. Remember, you can find every game here. But Mike, your thoughts on that first game we just witnessed?
Well, it also had a big game by Landon Kirkwood, who had 32 points today. Also 23 for Davian Jenkins. It was a game that Broward knew they had to win if they wanted to have any hope of getting to Kansas. Central Florida knew that there was still an outside shot if they were to lose that game because they're nationally ranked. They could get an at-large berth. But, you know, they say the cream rises to the top, and for Central Florida, this is their last year of competition, so it's an opportunity for them to possibly match up with another nationally ranked team. Florida Southwestern State College coming up next, the #1 team in the country. If they win, then we'll have 2 top 20 teams playing in the semifinals.
Absolutely. This is going to be an awesome game number 2. And if you thought game 1 was great, we're about to see, as you mentioned, the top team in the nation here. So Gulf Coast, though, they've got their men and women's team here in town for this tournament. So the Commodores looking for a big, big weekend here of basketball, and that's the game we'll have next. So we take a quick break. We'll be back shortly again for game 2 of our doubleheader. Thank you for joining us for game 1. It is the Patriots of Central Florida that take home a thrilling overtime victory. They and head coach Tim Ryan will advance and stay alive in this tournament in that program's final year. So we'll be back shortly here at Niceville, Florida, Raider Arena here on the campus of Northwest Florida State College. Back in just a minute.